Welcome to the story. Don't forget to like, subscribe and support me. Under the darkening sky, the distant mountains stood like sentinels around the troll tribe's village, casting long shadows across the dwindling community. Fires flickered weakly in the hearths, as the once mighty troll tribe gathered in silence. Fear hung thick in the air. Zalker, their chieftain, leaned heavily on his carved staff, his face etched with the weight of too many battles lost, too many raids repelled with fewer warriors each time. The time has come, Zalker began, his deep voice barely a rumble in the quiet. We cannot continue like this. The tribe weakens with every attack, and soon we will be nothing but a forgotten story. The tribal council, seated around him, remained silent. Even the oldest and wisest had no more answers. The trolls had always been a proud and fierce people, surviving in the harsh highlands for centuries, but now it seemed as if the world itself was conspiring against them. Enemy forces from distant lands grew bolder, and the tribe's numbers dwindled with every battle. Drought had withered their crops, and food was scarce. The very earth, it seemed, had turned against them. Zalker's hand tightened around the scroll he held, ancient and fragile, its edges frayed from age. I have found something, he said, and the murmurs began to rise from the council. He unrolled the scroll carefully, revealing the faded ink of a forgotten legend. There is a tale, old even when my father was young, a pact between our people and the Murlocs of the deep sea. The council's muttering grew louder, a mix of skepticism and curiosity. The Murlocs were creatures of myth to most trolls, strange, aquatic beings said to inhabit the dark, unfathomable depths of the ocean. Few in the tribe had ever seen them, and those who had spoke of them only in half whispers, as if even mentioning them might summon the creatures from the depths. Zalker raised his hand, demanding silence. This is no mere tale. Our ancestors made a pact with the Murlocs in the ancient times, when both of our peoples were under threat from a common enemy. Together, they fought and won, and together, they swore an eternal alliance. The silence stretched on as the weight of his words sank in. We need help. If the legends are true, the Murlocs might be our only hope. One of the council members, an old warrior named Grother, stood and spoke in a voice filled with doubt. If the pact is real, why have the Murlocs not come to our aid before now? It has been generations, Chief. What if they are no longer allies? What if they no longer even exist? Zalker met Grother's gaze, unflinching. That is why we must seek them out. We cannot rely on hope alone. I will send a delegation to the depths to find the Murlocs and renew the ancient alliance. If they still live, they might aid us. If not, a broken bar. His voice trailed off, but the meaning was clear. The trolls could not survive much longer without help. Grother's eyes narrowed. And who will you send to meet Desi broken bar creatures? Zalker turned to the back of the gathering, where a tall, broad-shouldered figure stood apart from the rest. Ruktharn, he said, and all eyes followed his gaze. Ruktharn was a warrior through and through, his skin marked with the scars of countless battles, his eyes sharp with the gaze of a man who had seen death many times and lived to speak of it. He stepped forward silently, his hand resting on the hilt of the curved blade at his waist. You are our best, Ruktharn, Zalker said, his voice steady. I trust you with the future of our people. Lead the delegation to the Murlocs and bring back their aid. Ruktharn nodded once. There was no need for grand speeches or promises. His loyalty to the tribe, to Zalker, was unshakable. He would do what was asked of him, no matter the danger. The decision was made. The council had no better options, no more wisdom to offer. The trolls were a tribe on the brink, and this was their last gamble. The journey began at dawn, with Ruktharn leading a small group of troll warriors down from the highlands and toward the distant coastline. The air grew cooler as they descended, the smell of salt and sea growing stronger with every step. For days, they traveled across the rugged terrain, through forests thick with mist and over jagged cliffs that dropped into the churning ocean far below. The warriors with Ruchtharn were handpicked seasoned fighters who had survived more battles than they could count. Yet even they seemed uneasy as the sea came into view. The ocean was a mystery to the mountain-dwelling trolls. They knew of it only through stories, and none of them had ever ventured beneath its surface. Ruchtharn, though outwardly calm, could feel the tension among his warriors. When they reached the coast, they found a small, ancient stone structure, half buried in sand and overgrown with seaweed. It was a shrine, built long ago by trolls who still remembered the pact with the Murlocs. Inside, they found relics of faded carvings depicting trolls and Murlocs standing side by side, united against some long-forgotten enemy. And in the center of the shrine, there lay a stone basin, filled with seawater that glowed faintly in the twilight. Ruchtharn approached the basin, his eyes narrowing as he studied the water. "This is the way," he said quietly. "The ancestors used this to summon the Murlocs." The warriors exchanged uneasy glances. Summoning creatures from the depths of the ocean was not something they had anticipated. But Ruchtharn gave them no time to hesitate. He placed his hand into the basin, and the water began to ripple, glowing brighter as if responding to his touch. Suddenly, the ground beneath them trembled, and the ocean itself seemed to stir. From the depths, a massive shadow emerged, rising from the water like a living mountain. It was a Murloc, a creature unlike any the trolls had ever seen. Its scales shimmered in the fading light, and its eyes glowed with an eerie blue light. The creature spoke in a language none of the trolls understood, its voice deep and resonant, like the roar of the ocean itself. Ruchtharn stepped forward, his hand still resting on the hilt of his blade. "I am Ruchtharn, of the Troll tribe," he said, his voice steady. "We seek the Murlocs, we seek to renew the ancient alliance between our peoples." The Murloc regarded him silently for a moment, its glowing eyes unblinking. Then, with a flick of its massive tail, it turned and began to sink back into the water, its voice echoing in the air. "Follow." Ruchtharn motioned for his warriors to follow. They descended into the ocean, following the creature into the depths. They wore enchanted amulets, passed down through generations of troll warriors, that allowed them to breathe underwater. But even with the magic protecting them, the sea was cold and dark, and the pressure of the deep weighed heavily on them. As they sank deeper, the light from the surface faded, replaced by the eerie glow of bioluminescent creatures that drifted through the water like ghosts. The Murloc led them down into a world that few trolls had ever seen, to the hidden kingdom of the Murlocs. When they finally reached the ocean floor, they found themselves in a city unlike anything they had ever imagined. The buildings were made of coral and stone, illuminated by strange, glowing plants and creatures that pulsed with light. But the city was in ruins, a half-collapsed structures covered in seaweed and debris, and the few Murlocs they saw were gaunt and hollow-eyed, their bodies marked with dark, twisting veins. "This is no city of allies," one of Ruchtharn's warriors muttered, eyeing the decayed structures warily. Ruchtharn remained silent, but he shared the same concerns. Something was very wrong in the Murloc kingdom. Stalker's voice grew resolute as he continued. "We need help. If the legends are true, the Murlocs might still be out there, bound by the same pact. We must send an envoy to the depths to seek their aid. It is our only chance." A heavy silence followed his declaration. The trolls knew the risks of venturing into the unknown. The depths of the ocean were fraught with danger, and the Murlocs, if they existed, might not be the allies their ancestors had once known. The council weighed the possibilities, their faces tense in the flickering light of the fire. Finally, one of the elders, an old troll named Garkin, spoke up. His voice was raspy, but firm. "We have little choice. If the Murlocs are still bound by the old pact, we must try. But we must choose our envoy wisely. They will face perils beyond our ken." Zalker nodded in agreement. "I have already chosen. Ruchtharn will lead the envoy. He is our finest warrior, skilled in both combat and survival. His strength and cunning will be our best chance." Ruchtharn, standing to the side, met the eyes of the council members with a steely gaze. His reputation as a fierce warrior was well earned, but the thought of venturing into the depths of the sea was daunting. Still, he knew the importance of the mission and accepted his duty without hesitation. As the council dispersed, Ruthorn gathered his companions, the 3 elite trolls selected for their skills and loyalty. They prepared for the journey with grim determination, knowing that their quest was both vital and perilous. The preparation was swift but thorough. The trolls packed provisions, enchanted artifacts to aid their survival underwater, and weapons for any possible conflicts. Their ritualistic preparation involved invoking ancient rites and blessings, ensuring that they were ready for the unknown challenges of the sea. On the day of departure, the sky was a roiling gray, and the sea churned restlessly. The trolls, donned in their protective gear, approached the shore with a mixture of trepidation and resolve. The waves crashed against the rocks with an almost foreboding rhythm, as if the ocean itself was aware of the impending intrusion. Ruthorn and his team embarked on their journey, their small boat navigating through the rough seas. The trolls used ancient spells to breathe underwater and protect themselves from the cold depths. As they descended, the world above grew distant, the light fading until it was a distant memory. The underwater realm loomed ahead, dark and mysterious. As they sank deeper, the ocean revealed its hidden wonders and dangers. Strange, bioluminescent creatures flitted by, casting eerie glows. The underwater terrain was a maze of coral reefs and sunken ruins. Despite the beauty, there was an underlying sense of dread. Finally, the trolls reached the Murloc city, a sprawling metropolis of coral and stone nestled in a vast underwater cavern. Once a place of vibrant life, it was now shrouded in an eerie darkness. The once majestic towers were now overgrown with seaweed and encrusted with strange, dark substances. The Murlocs, once known for their vibrant, colorful scales and agile movements, were now pallid and sluggish, their eyes dull and lifeless. They moved through the streets in a trance-like state, clearly under some form of control. The trolls' arrival did not go unnoticed, and soon they were surrounded by a group of Murloc guards, their weapons at the ready. Ruthorn stepped forward, speaking with authority. "We come as emissaries of the Troll tribe. We seek to renew the ancient pact. Our people are in grave danger, and we need your aid." The Murloc leader, a tall figure with dark scales and a grim expression, approached. His name was Thalzer, and he was once a revered leader among the Murlocs. Now, he seemed almost like a puppet, his movements mechanical and his gaze distant. "I am Thalzer," he said in a voice that was hollow and strained. "The pact you speak of. It is a memory long lost to us. Our people have been changed." Ruthorn's eyes narrowed. "Changed? What do you mean?" Thalzer's gaze flickered, and for a brief moment, there was a glimmer of recognition in his eyes. "An evil force has taken hold of our people. It came from the depths, beyond the known realms. It controls us, bends our will. We are no longer the allies we once were." Ruthorn's heart sank. The realization that the Murlocs were not only under threat but had become agents of a dark power was a grim turn of events. "If we can defeat this force, would you aid us then? Can you break free from its control?" Thalzer nodded slowly, a hint of desperation in his eyes. "If you can help us, if you can break the chains that bind us, then we will stand with you. But it will not be easy. The power that controls us is ancient and malevolent." The trolls and the Murlocs were united by a common enemy, but their task was daunting. They needed to delve into the deepest part of the ocean, to confront the darkness that had corrupted the Murlocs and restore the balance. As Ruthorn and his companions prepared to face the unknown, they could feel the weight of their mission pressing down on them. The fate of their peoples rested on their shoulders, and the depths of the ocean held secrets and dangers that no one could fully comprehend. The journey into the heart of darkness had begun, and with it, the hope of salvation for both the trolls and the Murlocs. Their path was fraught with peril, but their resolve was unwavering. Together, they would face the ancient evil that threatened to consume them all.